But actually, before you even begin deploying a ton of marketing strategies, first things first is you want to do some customer interviews. You want to talk to people. You want to see if you're actually solving a problem that that market actually needs. If you're not, then I just one thing that I'll kind of close with. Just as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to let go of bad ideas. You have this idea and you're super invested in it, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. The world is going to love this, and you just launch out and you do a bunch of things that end up draining you personally. They drain your finances also. They drain whoever else you get to agree with you, and then you're stuck. So to avoid that, you want to speak to people, ask them open-ended questions. Try to stay in the open-ended lane rather than leading them to solutions. And then if you can get some leeway there, I mean, again, this is data. How many people do you need to speak to before you know, hey, this is a great lane to go with? Not one or two, right? You need to speak to enough people so that you get a good balance of data to go on. And then the sweet spot is when you have a bunch of people say, hey, I need this, not this is a nice to have, but I really need it. And that's the lane you penetrate on. You then move forward in that lane and see what else you can validate through customer interviews. And once you have a solid offer, you move forward on it. And then organic marketing would definitely work for you at that stage, or really a lot of different strategies would work for you at that stage. But certainly don't try and penetrate a market that you have no idea. You have no idea whether or not what you're building is actually going to work. So either Kelly or Paul, do you guys have anything to add as we close up?
No, just totally agree with that. Like, as I always say, everybody has at least one good idea in their life, but they don't have people to help them develop and execute and scale those ideas. They can start off with being, as you just said a minute ago, I love my idea is brilliant. And then someone tells them something a little bit different. Some people will gravitate towards that and take that advice, and it turns out to be even better than what they expected. Some people will hold on to it like a toy from a 6-month-old that doesn't want to let go of it when they're 40 years old. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. This is my idea. We're sticking here. But yeah, definitely make sure validate it first before you start building stuff.
Yeah. Anything that you'd like to add, Paul?
So all good points. I've started several companies now. Some failed, some did okay, some did really well. But I will say that, like, don't become attached to your idea, because that defeats the whole point of what you're doing. The whole point of what you're doing is to build something that's innovative, right? And in order to be innovative, you have to be open to letting go. You have to be open to change. And that's why, companies that maybe started, 20, 30 years ago are a lot of them are, not even the same company today. Like, for example, you all may not be aware, but YouTube actually started out as a dating and online dating streaming service. And it's so much different today, right? So be willing to, change and re-architect your idea. Become attached to the idea of being an entrepreneur, not the idea of an idea, right? So that's what I would say. It's not that you have maybe you have a really good idea, but then again, it's timing, right? are people willing to try new things? I would say that people are probably less willing to try new things in today's current market because of the recent banking collapse, some of the things that are going on in the world. So people are probably more risk averse, which can be a challenge if you're trying to, kind of, break the mold, the traditional mold, the traditional way of doing things. So I'll leave you with that. Yeah. And again, just build something that people want, that the market needs. Like Kira said, like, I need this, build something that they need or even that they want, particularly that's, recession resilient is always good. And, that will make things easier for you. I see a lot of people chasing investors. They're chasing VC money, but they have no customers or they have limited customers, and they really are investor focused versus VC or versus customer focused. So, kind of doing that paradigm shift in your mind can help you out a lot. And it can get you to a point where you don't have to go look for investors. You don't have to go pitch investors. People will eventually hear about what you're doing. So those are my thoughts.
Awesome.